4 play before a sellout crowd at Veterans Stadium. It's the 49ers and the Eagles in splendid weather conditions in Philadelphia. Partly sunny, 65 degrees as we get underway. And Dick Stockton along with Merlin Olsen. And the game is underway. The 49ers receiving the opening kickoff. And it's downed in the end zone by Dexter Carter. And the Niners will take over on the 20-yard line. Steve Young. Offensive front. First down at the 20-yard line for the 49ers. Dexter Carter with the first carry of the game, going outside and picking up about 3 yards. You saw Steve Young, who's the quarterback for the 49ers, did his first 16 passes last week against the Lions, and the offensive line, which has been pretty much intact for the Niners this season. They did pretty well against the running game last week. Carter and Rathman are the backs, and Jerry Rice and John Taylor the dangerous wide receivers. Second down and 7. Niners being tested against a very strong defensive line. Rathman will lose a yard. Jerome Brown making the tackle.
George Seifert says this is the most physical defense in the NFL. Ranks right up there with the great Chicago Bear defense of 1985. This is going to be a test for the confidence level of this San Francisco offense. A look at those defenders for Philadelphia. You're going to see Steve Young moving around a lot today, sometimes by design, and sometimes he's just going to be running for his life.
4 wide receivers, Mike Sherrard and Sanjay Beach are in there with Rice in motion. Third down and 7. And Young, who's a threat to run, found an opening and picks up a first down, a gain of 13 yards with Wes Hopkins, the free safety, making the tackle. This could be a troublesome maneuver for the Eagles defense.
This would appear to be either a designed draw with Young running or just a quick response to what's opened up in front of him. And George Seifert says, look, I'm not going to tell Steve Young he can't run. That's one of the things he does best. What I object to is his running at the end of the run like Bronco Nagurski. I don't want to lose Steve Young.
So it's first down. William Thomas, a rookie from Texas A&M, has come in now at linebacker. And the pitch to Keith Henderson on first down, and Henderson carries it out to the 40-yard line. A pickup of 5 yards. Henderson going over the 100-yard mark. The first 49er running back to do it since Dexter Carter went over 100 against the Rams late last season.
These 49er offensive linemen said that their feeling was it was the patience of the coaching staff, leaving Henderson in after he had fumbled on the first drive and really saying to this offense, we want you to establish the running game. They did that. That was a very important time, very important confidence builder for this 49er offense.
104 yards for Henderson last week. Second down and 5. This time Sherrard goes in motion. Youngs fires it incomplete. Jamie Williams, the tight end, was the intended receiver, but that pass was way overthrown.
It was overthrown for one simple reason. Jerome Brown. Right in there, and watch him from the right-hand side of your screen, number 99. Watch Young. He has to side slip and then has to throw before he's ready to throw, or he was going to be sacked. That's the kind of testing that this Eagle defense will give this 49er offense here today.
Third down and 5. Ball is at the Niner 40. Young is going to take off again, and he's going to get the first down and get into Eagle territory. The Eagles are going to have to find a solution to that problem. A gain of 16 yards that time for Young, with Eric Allen and Byron Evans finally bringing him down.
There's bad news and good news in this. Not enough time to get the receivers and break them open right there. Well, Rice is finally open, but his quarterback is already in motion to the sideline. A little pop there in the back. But when Steve Young runs like that, on Monday morning, they'll sit down, he and Mike Holmgren, and say, was that a good decision? Was it a bad decision? I think that was a good decision. He was going to be sacked. His bad decision on that play was not running out of bounds. Had a chance to do it. Should have done it.
First down on the Eagle 44. Henderson. And making the tackle on Henderson was Reggie White. The question is, will they keep Henderson the lone back? The Niners have shuttled a lot in, but you can't argue with a 100-yard effort last week.
Henderson, a big back, 6'1" and 220, and backs like to get a chance to warm up and carry that football. And the strong backs seem to get better as the day goes on. Henderson, I'm sure, would like to have that opportunity, and George Seifert may give it to him.
Second down and 6 on the Eagle 40-yard line. Henderson carries again and gets good yardage. He's got another 49er first down. A gain of 11 yards. Rich Miano, an extra back, and Mike Pitts in on the stop, and Henderson finding the opening holes early.
Nobody really knows how to control Jerry Rice, but one of the things you have to do is bother his pass routes. Of course, Rice on this occasion is a blocker. He knows it's a running play. He's occupying one of those defenders.
Mike Golick has replaced Jerome Brown as the Eagles rotate the tackles. Brown, Mike Pitts, and Golick is in there now. First down on the 29 of Philadelphia. They give it to Henderson again with Rathman blocking, and Henderson gets to the 21-yard line. A gain of about 8 yards, and Seth Joyner making the stop. Last week, Henderson fumbled on the first series for the 49ers, but came back into the game, a show of confidence by Coach Seifert.
Came back in and did a fine job. I think the thing that impressed me most about last week for the 49ers, they had drives of 89, 68, 88, 80, and 31 yards. Now that is ball control, and they've started here with a tremendous drive in this first series.
Second down and 2. Henderson gets inside the 20 and has another first down for the 49ers. Jerome Brown making the tackle. Bud Carson with a masterful defensive job. He's got a lot of talent, and it's been very tough to run against this Philadelphia defense.
The only team that really ran well, the Washington Redskins. Everyone else has had trouble running the football against this defense. This is the second-ranked defense in the NFL. And that is impressive in light of the offensive problems that the Eagles have had. They have been on the field a huge amount the last 3 weeks.
First and 10 on the 17, and Henderson with a penalty marker thrown from behind the line of scrimmage is stopped quickly. That was Byron Evans on the tackle.
Would appear to be a holding call against the 49ers, and a decision here because there was no gain. Do you take the yardage and hope to move them out of field goal range, or do you take the down away from the 49ers?
Number 62 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
Penalty against the left guard, Guy McIntyre. Will move the ball back. The referee today is Gordon McCarter.
This is an undersized San Francisco offensive line, and so far they are doing a fine job against that bigger and stronger defensive front for the Eagles.
First down and 20. Harry Sidney now in the backfield with his first carry of the game. He doesn't get much. And the crowd supporting this outstanding defense getting into the game. That was Jerome Brown again.
This Eagle team has been famous for its ability to put a lot of people on the ball carrier. There were 6 Eagles right there at the end of that run.
We took a look before about how tough it's been to rush against the Philadelphia defense. Right now, the 49ers have gained 63 yards on the ground, so they have done better than virtually everyone other than the Redskins.
Not only an impressive first drive, but great balance of passing and running. And that's something the 49ers are really working hard to achieve.
Second down and 19. They gobbled the snap. Young had a problem, but his pass is caught. Jamie Williams, the tight end who grabbed 5 last week and a pickup of 4 yards. But the 49ers are using the clock nearly 8 minutes thus far.
Using the clock and their whole playbook. This has been, as we said, an impressive drive. Steve Young has grown tremendously with the opportunity to play here in this season for Montana. The thing that I like about what he's doing now, he's not just dropping back and unloading the football and then running if there's any pressure or he can't find the receiver. He is willing to stay back in that pocket. He only runs when he feels that he has to run.
They rush 4 against Young on 3rd down, and his pass to Taylor, and it is a touchdown. John Taylor with a 21-yard reception beat Eric Allen to give the Niners the lead.
When you have outstanding receivers like Jerry Rice and John Taylor, as a quarterback, you've got to try and get a little extra time. Give them time to come open. Steve Young did that on the last play by stepping up right into the heat. And I don't think he would have done that perhaps a year ago. He did it beautifully on that play.
Mike Coper has just missed 1 conversion this year. This kick is good. So John Taylor with his 4th touchdown catch of the year.
Watch Taylor coming open in the end zone. Young is going to step up right here, right into the heat. Sees the open man off to the left-hand side. A strike just barely missed by Eric Allen. With Rice and Taylor on the same side, this is the formation that the Eagles feared the most. Watch them as they both go down and break inside. Wes Hopkins is going to show up here. He has to make a decision. He goes with Rice, and that opened up Taylor to the backside. There it is. Taylor, running into that area vacated by the safety, is there for the touchdown.
And Eric Allen giving up his first touchdown since last year against Miami when Mark Duper beat him. And John Taylor, who's burned a lot of corners, including good corners like Eric Allen. Coper will kick off. Fielded by Sanders, a yard in the end zone. He'll run it out. And not get far, and he stopped inside the 10-yard line. 10-yard return and the tackle by Antonio Goss. So this is going to make it even tougher for Jim McMahon. And we'll see how mobile he ends up being. Key is the offensive line. Ron Heller moving the left tackle, and Antone Davis, the top pick out of Tennessee, back starting in right tackle. And another shuffle on the offensive line. Heath Sherman and Keith Byers, the running backs. Brett Barnett and veteran Roy Green, the wide receivers, starting. But we'll see Calvin Williams, who's off injured reserve. First down on the 10 for the Eagles. Start out with 2 tight ends. Green is in motion. Keith Sherman. And the stop made by the nose tackle, Michael Carter. 49ers are without their 2 best run defenders, Pierce Holt and Kevin Fagan. So it's Roberts, Carter, and Brown up front. That's their base defense. Haley, DeLong, Darren Jordan, who's a Plan B pickup from the Raiders, and Romanowski. Lee and Griffin, they had big games against the Lions last week at corner. Todd Bowles and Dave Waymer, the safeties. Second down and 7 for the Eagles. See if the quick count got the 49ers to jump or the other way around. Keith Sherman carried, and Darren Jordan got in there in a hurry.
I think that staggered count, McMahon, a veteran quarterback, knows how to use his voice. Got them a little eager on that play. Dick, we're going to see 2 rookies. 2 rookie linemen, John Hudson and Rob Selby, working in and out of that Eagle offense. They'll be in there at guard primarily, but probably one at a time, not both at the same time. Good news for McMahon.
The opening drive by the Niners went 8 minutes and 17 seconds, and 64 of the 80 yards were on the ground. That could really pay off later when the Niners like to go to their receivers more. Second down and 2 on the 19. Keith Byers appears to have the first down. Byers and Keith Jackson, two big weapons when Randall Cunningham has been the quarterback. What about this afternoon, Merle?
Well, I think there's no question that McMahon can do a better job of getting the ball to them. But look at this, the missing ingredients. 1990, the receptions by these two, 74, 1991, 24. Almost a 200% drop there. And look at that. Boy, I mean, it's such a huge drop-off of productivity. You've got to get these guys back into the flow.
Byers goes in motion on first down. They swing it out to Sherman. And a great play by Romanowski, who penetrates nicely, and a loss on the play of 5 yards. Bill Romanowski, who is expected to cover defensively downfield with a play here.
Romanowski will be out to the left of this defensive shot. He's one of those linebackers that plays extremely well, run or pass, getting the body right over the top. Ron Salt trying to cut him, and Romanowski just threw himself in there to make that tackle on Heath Sherman. I think along with Seth Joyner, this is one of the most underrated overall linebackers in the NFL. He is really a star.
Second down and 14 for the Eagles. They're back to their 18-yard line. Niners lead it 7-0, first quarter. Time. And Charles Haley gets the first sack in 3 games for the 49er defensive line.
And Haley's first sack in 5 games. Actually, this is the 6th game. He'd had a 5-game drought. Well, the drought is over. And of course, when you go after a quarterback like McMahon, who has been injured this much, you know where to find him. He's not going to move around a lot. It makes it easier to rush that quarterback.
And it makes it easier when you're going against a rookie in Anton Davis, who regained his starting role, but has really found out what it's like to be a rookie in the NFL after being a star in college. A #1 pick, and he was beaten soundly by Haley there, and a loss of 9. Third down and 23. Calvin Williams makes the appearance as the third receiver, and catch by Keith Jackson. Flag is down, but a great piece of running by Keith Jackson gets him the first down. A gain of 30, but a penalty marker thrown down after the tackle. Mark Lee made the stop on Jackson, but it took a few Niners to do it.
There is no foul. The block was legal. First down, open.
We talked about Byers and Jackson getting back into the flow of action. Jim McMahon knows how to get them the football. He does it here, waiting until the last second and then being able to pick that hole in the zone. Jackson there to make the catch, and boy, he is running with authority here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the San Francisco Giants. Anton Davis just able to push Haley beyond the quarterback on that play.
First down on the Eagle 40-yard line. They got out of some big trouble on that play. This time Heath Sherman cuts inside and picks up about 3 yards. And right now, for an NFL Today update, let's check in with Greg Gumbel in New York. Greg?
All right, Dick, at Atlanta, Chris Miller leading the league in interceptions, but not on this one. Gets a little time and finds Floyd Dixon 19 yards away. With the extra point, the Falcons have grabbed a 7-0 lead on the Rams, Dick.
So that's a game of interest to the 49er fans. 2 NFC West teams battling it out. Ted Washington has replaced Larry Roberts on the defensive line as the 49ers will shuttle an already thin defensive line group. Second down and 6. 2:05 remaining in the first quarter. Short drop. Pass wide open to Roy Green. And he's wrestled out of bounds by Mark Lee. And another Philadelphia first down. Good for 12 yards.
Now when you've got a rookie, a tackle, he needs a little assistance over there. Haley is coming on the rookie here, Anton Davis. And who's there to help him? Number 88, Keith Jackson. A good job. A little extra time for the quarterback. A big strike to the outside to Roy Green. 34-year-old wide receiver working on a 33-year-old cornerback. Interesting.
You could still be playing at those ages.
Suit me up, coach.
First down now on the Niners 44. Eagles with an impressive drive of their own. Pete Sherman picks up 5 yards on that carry. Charles Haley making the tackle, but that's a good rush for the Eagles, who've been averaging under 3 yards a rush this season.
Number 94, Charles Haley, listed as a linebacker. Don't believe it. He's a lineman. Takes on Byers right there and moves to the outside to make that tackle downfield. The running game for Philadelphia, very, very important today. They've got to establish that to keep the heat off McMahon.
Tim Harris, acquired from the Green Bay Packers, and already in a little bit of trouble out of the Bay Area off the field, has entered the game. It'll be second down and 5.
5-man rush, it would appear.
They run 5.
It is.
And the quick pass is caught by Jackson. A pickup of 12. Todd Bowles on the stop. Well, they found a way so far to get the ball to Keith Jackson in this first quarter.
You put the speed rushers on the outside. Anton Davis has got to take care of Haley. Look at this. Just pushes him outside. Of course, he does have some help. And on the other side, Tim Harris. He comes with a speed rush, too. And that's Heller coming out to stick him. And, of course, Jim McMahon, with that kind of time, throws another strike. Again, we've seen a very impressive drive by San Francisco to open the game, and the Eagles coming right back with their own.
And that is the end of the first quarter here at Veterans Stadium. With the score, the 49ers 7 and the Eagles nothing. Beautiful October Sunday in Philadelphia. Temperatures in the high 60s. And beautiful sky and a capacity crowd. You wouldn't want to be anywhere else than Veterans Stadium for the 49ers and the Eagles as we get set to start the second quarter. Dick Stockton and Merlin Olsen here with the Niners leading 7-0, but the Eagles have used up nearly 7 minutes on their first possession of the game.
When was the last time you saw a whole first quarter go by and each team with only one chance at the football?
I don't remember when. First down for the Eagles on the Niners 18. They rush 3. And Heath Sherman is going to lose a yard, and the tackle by Todd Bowles. Well, what does Jim McMahon think about what the Eagles need to do against the 49ers?
Number one, we can't turn the ball over. You know, we're going to try not to throw interceptions, try to not leave it on the ground for them. Try to make them go at least 80 yards on every offensive possession in order to score.
Right now, McMahon is a perfect 4 for 4 for 60 yards, but faces a second down and 11.
And so far, he has avoided those mistakes. Needs to continue here. You don't get many chances. You better take advantage of them.
McMahon gets an inside rush, goes outside to Byers, touchdown, Philadelphia. Romanowski was beaten. He made a good play before on a running play, but was beaten by Byers on the pass, and the Eagles now trail 7-6. Roger Ruzek with the punter, Jeff Eagles, holding. The Eagles have found a way to get the ball to Keith Jackson and Keith Byers, and the game is tied 7-7.
And the touchdown drought here in Philadelphia, 42 possessions without a touchdown offensively, but McMahon brings it home here, patiently waiting, and 0 for October suddenly is gone. Byers into the end zone.
19 yards to tie the game. Jim McMahon was 5 for 5 on that 90-yard drive by the Eagles. He has been sacked once today, but the score is 7-7 as Roger Ruzek prepares to kick off to the 49ers. Dexter Carter and Spencer Tillman are back to receive for San Francisco. It's a low line drive kick, and Carter at the 7. And a fine return to the 34-yard line. A return of 27 yards by Dexter Carter and a tackle by Otis Smith. So Steve Young brings the offense back on the field. We'll take a break here at Veterans Stadium.
You're watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
Sometimes good players try to do too much. Watch Bill Romanowski as he lines up. He tries to get a bump right here on Fred Barnett before Barnett gets away. Now that little bump slows him down half a step. It's the half step that beats him into the end zone.
First down for the Niners on their 34-yard line. Less than a minute gone by in the second quarter. No blitz, but a quick pass out to John Taylor. He breaks a tackle and will get a first down and ridden out of bounds just shy of midfield by Wes Hopkins. Ben Smith missed the tackle.
We expected a game of defenses here today, not a game of high-scoring offenses and dominant offenses, Dick. And yet look what's happened. A 13-play drive by San Francisco, 80 yards for the touchdown, an 11-play drive, 90 yards for the touch for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Jerome Brown is the injured Eagle. Don't want to lose any of those four, and Jerome Brown maybe least of all.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Toyota and their quality line of 1992 cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me. Hewlett-Packard LaserJet printers, they'll get you noticed. And by new Coors Cutter non-alcoholic brew.
It's gotten quiet here at Veterans Stadium. Jerome Brown was shaken up and left the field on his own power. They're working on him on the sidelines. Mike Golick has replaced him up front. First and 10 for the 49ers on their 47-yard line. Henderson gets the call, stumbles, but the Eagles penetrated nicely with their defensive line, and Clyde Simmons and Golick were in on the play.
And a wonderful play by William Thomas, a young linebacker, only 218 pounds, who stood in there against Wesley Walls and kept that play from breaking outside. A fine play by Thomas.
Jesse Small started the game at weak side linebacker, but Thomas, who was taken on the 4th round and a pretty good cover man downfield, is going to play most of this game. Second down and 12. Young has time.
No.
And the pass to Taylor.
I think it touched the ground.
Right now, they've ruled it a completed catch, however, and that'll bring up third down and short unless they review it. A gain of 9 yards.
Well, that's interesting. Maybe my eyes are playing tricks with me.
No, you may be right.
Let's take a look at it. It looked to me like that ball tapped the ground as it was scooped up. Right there, Taylor across to get it. No, maybe not.
Nope.
Maybe right at the shoe tips. Just a good pickup by John Taylor.
Miano and Jenkins are in the secondary for the Eagles on third down and 3. Young is being blitzed by the safety. And a loss, Izell Jenkins. And a loss of 8 yards. That knocked him out of field goal range as well, and there's a 49er shaken up.
Against a left-handed quarterback, the blind side is on the offensive right side. And that's where the blitz comes from. Left-hand side of your screen, 46, Izell Jenkins, nobody there to touch him. It looked like McIntyre, the option blocker in the line, did not see him coming and couldn't get out to protect the quarterback.
Steve Wallace, number 74, right in front of you, got hurt falling over both Young and Izell Jenkins, and He is slowly walking off the field. It is 4th down. And Joe Prokop, who did not punt last week against the Lions, he's got to be a little rusty, is in there now to kick it away.
He said, I've never had a game winner, never had to punt the football. He's afraid they may abolish his position. He said, I want to kick a few. I'd like to get a few shots.
I think against this defense, he's going to have a chance to kick
I think he'll have a few shots.
Jerome Brown suffered a bruised knee, and he's gone into the locker room. So Pitts and Golick will have to man the tackle positions defensively for the Eagles, and Wallace a big concern for the Niners. Prokop will kick it, and Rod Harris is back deep for the Eagles. Harris on the 20. It was high enough for the Niners to cover it well, and Harris very nearly lost the handle. And let's see, there's a penalty marker down on the field following the 34-yard kick. So let's wait.
Against the punting team, Dick.
I would think the Eagles would want to get another shot at it, but let's see.
Illegal formation, offense, 5 yards, repeat 4th down. Illegal formation, only 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
Someone lined up too far away from the ball, and I agree with you. They're calling it back for one simple reason. If he gets a great one and puts it in the end zone, comes back to the 20 anyway. Gives that return team a chance to do something against this 49er punting team.
Prokop was formerly with the New York Jets. He replaced Ralph Mosienko, who didn't work out for the Niners. Harris is standing on his 20-yard line.
Good kick.
Harris on the 18 and brings it out to the 25. Not much of a difference from the first kick. Greg Cox makes the play for the 49ers, and we have another penalty marker down and another illegal procedure call against San Francisco. And you know they're going to want it again, right?
I guess you go back out there again. I tell you one thing, not only is George Seifert angry, but if you're a member of the punt team for the San Francisco 49ers, the punt return team for the Eagles, you got to be panting a little bit out there right
Again,
now.
illegal formation, kicking team, only 6 men on the line of scrimmage.
That's
5
good.
yards, repeat 4th down.
That's the first time I've ever heard an official begin his call with again.
That's amazing. Well, there's a message going over to Lynn Stiles is the special teams coordinator for these 49ers, and there he is on the sideline. They don't make that kind of mistakes very often.
Well, George Seifert is livid on the sidelines. He doesn't show it often, but he was mad. 4 penalties already charged to the Niners. And Prokop has had enough kicking, 3 in a row now. Let's see what Harris does this time around. And again, the same result. But Prokop needs a rest after kicking 3 times.
Well, they're making up for last week, Dick.
Todd Bowles on the tackle. McMahon checks back in to lead the Eagles when we come back.
This game summary is sponsored by Bud Dry.
John Taylor and Keith Byers have caught the touchdown passes in a 7-7 game. The 49ers are rushing very well, and Jim McMahon is perfect thus far. Here is the 49ers score. They went 80 yards, capped by this Steve Young to John Taylor 21-yard play. And then the Eagles countered with McMahon hitting Byers for 19 yards early in the second quarter. 1st and 10 on the 25 for the Eagles. They've got a rookie now at left guard in John Hudson. And the handoff is to Thomas Sanders, who's in the game now as a running back, and he picks up about a yard.
A lot of changes for the Eagles in that offensive line, and they have struggled in their protection. Look at this. They've had 4 different left tackles, 3 left guards, 2 centers, 4 right guards, and 2 right tackles. And of course, during all of that time, they've been scrambling to try and keep their quarterbacks healthy. Cunningham down in the first game of the season. McMahon went down against Washington, and they have taken a lot of hits and a lot of sacks on the season.
Second down and 9 at the Eagle 26. Nearly 5 minutes elapsed in the second quarter. McMahon in the pocket, and he is sacked, and a penalty marker is down as well. 2 of them. Dennis Brown got to him first.
That might have been a face mask call on the lineman at Dennis Brown as he got there.
It'll be a loss of 3 yards.
Foul, face mask, 15 yards.
But it'll be a first down once they start marking it off.
There are some areas of the field when you can get away with this kind of shot. But watch number 96. You see him second from the bottom. Throws Salt right out of there. Gets rid of him. But watch the hand. The right hand snap right to the mask and then jerks McMahon's head down. There's somebody there protecting that quarterback, and they will not allow you to touch his head. So Dennis Brown gets the 15-yard, or gets the call automatically.
And it is a 15-yard penalty, and the 49ers are really not playing in sync. They're making a lot of mistakes that winning teams don't make. On the kick team before, and now on the personal foul. And a first down on the 38. McMahon, penalty flag is down. He hits Keith Jackson again. What a bullet by McMahon. And Jackson gets to the 32-yard line, and he gained 30 yards that time, and the tackle by Todd Bowles with help from Mark Lee. But a penalty flag is down, and they're going to bring this one back, holding against the Eagles.
Holding, number 78, offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
That's Antone Davis, the right tackle, still having his troubles.
And Charles Haley inside the speed rush, and Antone just tackled him, reached out and looped him inside. I'll tell you that usually they let you get away with one like that, but Davis, who had 7 penalties in one 2-game stretch, was put on the bench against the New Orleans Saints. They said, hey, stop and think about it. Kind of lost his technique in those games. Charles Haley is such a load for anyone, let alone a rookie who's just trying to get his feet comfortable in the NFL.
That's the first penalty against the Eagles, but a one that really hurts. After the 30-yard gain is rubbed out, it'll be first down and 20, back on the Philadelphia 28. McMahon in trouble again, and this pass is caught by Keith Byers. McMahon ad-libbing beautifully in a gain of 7 yards when he might have been sacked for a loss.
Watch the quickness of Haley, but watch those legs of McMahon. McMahon having trouble as he's forced to move around in there. Haley gets the heat here. Now watch McMahon step out of there and move in the pocket. But as he does it, Charles gets back across. Look at McMahon kind of hopping right there on that right knee. There's Haley again to finish the job he started moments ago on the other side of the screen. Fine rush by Charles Haley.
Second and 13, and Haley lines up on the right side of the defensive line. He's got Byers, who now returns the motion. And Haley comes in and stops Thomas Sanders on the running play, and they'll lose 6 yards down.
The quickness of Charles Haley. Byers went inside, came back out in motion. Bailey is his man, but Haley is his man, but Byers missed him cleanly. Didn't even get a piece of him. And Haley just too darn quick for that. Thomas Sanders didn't have a chance to move on that play.
Third down and 19. Philadelphia under their season's rushing of 2.7 yards a carry. Merton Hanks, a rookie who had a good game last week against the Lions, and Johnny Jackson have added to the Niners secondary on third down and 19. Penalty marker down. Somebody moved, and McMahon is tackled back at the 15-yard line by Tim Harris.
That'll be a call against the 49ers. Simply biting on that cadence by McMahon again.
Offside, number 96, defense, 5 yards, still third down.
Dennis Brown having to make an adjustment in the absence of Pierce Holt and Kevin Fagan. He's got to become an every down player, and that's been a real adjustment for him. has to play the running game as well as going on the pass downs. That's what he did last year. Came in on 3rd and long, came in on the pass downs, and that's all he really had to worry about. Well, now he's got to play on every down. He is not concentrating, obviously, as well as he needs to be an every down player.
They do miss Holt and Fagan. 3rd down and 14, and the Eagles call a timeout with 6:54 remaining in the first half. Tied at 7-7. Man with a plea. Number 75 is Kevin Fagan, the key to the 49ers' outstanding defense last year. He has an Achilles tendon injury. He's been out 4 games, but the Niners have not put him on injured reserve. And there's another guy who's inactive today.
Pierce Holt tried to get back into the game last week. One of his own players went on the back of his leg. He's in a cast now. Those two, the most effective defensive ends in football the latter half of 1990.
They're not the only injured defensive players for the Niners. 3rd down and 14, and Haley, with no one in front of him, comes in and sacks McMahon. And the Eagles have a big problem keeping 94 out of there.
Antone Davis is probably going to find a seat on the bench here in just a moment. Or was that someone else in it? Oh, it's Antone again. And Haley just blows by Antone. Woof. You better get some help in there quick, or Haley is going to kill your quarterback.
A loss of 9 yards. Jeff Feagles will be kicking for the Eagles. Sanjay Beach.
Great
kick
kick
for the Niners. Beach gets by one defender. And ridden out of bounds shy of the 40-yard line. A penalty marker is thrown, however. The tackle was made by Kenny Jackson. You mentioned Holt and Fagan, but you can add Mike Walter, who's out with a hamstring, and of course 2 members of the secondary on injured reserve. Frank Pollard and Eric Davis has been out, so 5 starters missing in the 49er defensive unit.
Well, and your starting tight end is out of there too offensively. They've been hurt by injuries.
Number 98 receiving team during the return. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
10-yard penalty against Antonio Goss of the Niners.
A real question about how much punishment Jim McMahon can take. We said he's become a brittle quarterback. He doesn't need that kind of pounding.
The Eagles' offensive line has been beaten badly so far. But good news for the defense. Jerome Brown is back in for the Eagles, and Steve Wallace has also returned for the 49ers at offensive tackle. First down, and Pete Henderson gets a second go out of it and works his way beyond the 30-yard line, and a gain of 6 yards. Eagles, like the 49ers, coming in at 3-4 on the season.
But they've lost their last 3 ball games. And without this great defense, they would have been even further out than they have been. This defense is playing some of the best football in the NFL, and I think, in fact, the best defense in the NFL. I know that New Orleans is ahead of them, but they have had a much tougher time. They've been on the field a lot more than the Saints defense has.
2 tight ends. Wesley Walls joins Jamie Williams on the 2nd down and 4. Young with a quick toss, and it was tipped at the line, intended for Jamie Williams.
Looked like Reggie White coming in on a stunt to bat that one down. Watch Reggie White, number 92, sliding in from the left-hand side here, to the left-hand side right there, and diving across. Well, it wasn't Reggie. Let's go back. It must have been William Thomas that tapped that one. Reggie got there, and you notice he does not take the cheap shot on Young. He's the kind of defensive lineman the quarterbacks like. Some of them they don't like at all. Reggie they like.
3rd down and 4 on the 30-yard line. Young with an audible at the line, and doesn't think the audible will work, and he calls the timeout. So the 49ers call their first timeout. Each team has 2 remaining with 5:46 on the clock. 7-7 our score. The Eagles had a 30-yard play nullified because of a holding call. One game for the World Championship. The Braves and the Twins tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And last night, Kirby Puckett with the home run off of Charlie Leibrandt. And And Jack Buck and Tim McCarver will see you tonight in what has got to be one of the 3 best World Series in the last 20 years. Game 7. Who will win the World Championship? It begins at 8 o'clock Eastern. 3rd down and 4 on the 30-yard line with that much time remaining in the first half. Young won't get it off. And the Eagles with their 2nd sack of the game.
I mentioned pass rushing lanes, and they're so important here. Watch Steve Young as he goes back. He feels the pressure and decides to run right here. There is nowhere to go. Golick pushes his man right into Steve Young, and Reggie pushes in from the outside, just smashes it inside. There's Reggie White driving his man right there inside. Ooh, bam, bam, I like that.
He was like a pinball machine there.
Steve didn't know where to go on that one.
Brokoff will be kicking, and Ron Harris is deep for the Eagles. Good high kick, not long. Give the Niners a chance to cover it. And Harris apparently touched it, and it's a free ball. If the Niners recover, it'll be a touchdown, and it is a touchdown for the 49ers, and it's Spencer Tillman who recovered it as it had touched Ron Harris's hand. Now there's a conference on the sideline. If it's a muff, you cannot advance it. And I believe Harris did not really have possession when we take another look. So it is not going to be a touchdown. Isel Jenkins also had a shot at it.
It looked like the ball just clearly bounced, provided
by the receivers. It will be San Francisco's ball, 1st and 10 at this spot.
They signaled touchdown, but since it was not a fumble but a muff, they have to bring the ball back, and it will be placed at, looks like, the 30-yard line.
We've seen the AstroTurf bounce with baseball. Whoa.
I don't know if
right
it touched
there.
it.
Rod Harris says, I didn't touch it, holds up his hands at that moment. Maybe we ought to go back and look at it again.
I don't think he touched the ball, Merlin.
Let's see if he touches it. He reaches for it and pulls his hands back. Right there, he certainly did not change the trajectory of that ball at all. Maybe another angle.
You're right. If he had touched it in any way, the angle would be changed after that high kick.
Well, you can't see it for his head there.
The first angle shows that he did not touch it.
The official was right on top of it. The official right there looking at it from the other side.
The second angle doesn't show it because he screened. This is the best angle. Now let's see if Isel Jenkins touched the ball. He may be the guy who did.
Well, if that's the case, the ball moves down here. That we may end up with the ball down on the 10-yard line instead of where it's marked right now on the 31.5. There's no question about the second touch.
There is an official standing on the 10, so he may know that that's where the ball will go. A big break for the 49ers. It was not a long kick, but a high kick by Joe Prokop, and the 49ers were surrounding Ron Harris, looking up into that sky.
Once again, instant replay must see proof that allows them to change the call on the field. And if they don't get that kind of proof visually, the call must stand as it was called. In this case, that means the 49ers have the ball either at the 31.5-yard line or down just outside the 10-yard line.
Well, Jenkins definitely touched it if Harris didn't.
Well, either way, a costly error by the special teams. Dave Atkins, special teams coach for the Eagles, I'm sure frustrated. You tell your receivers if they're not going to catch that ball, get away from it. Isel Jenkins downfield. I don't know what he was thinking when that ball rolled loose.
The officials signaled touchdown when Tillman fell on it. They're still reviewing it.
Every coach will tell you that there are critical plays, maybe a half a dozen of them in every game. And often those critical plays come on special teams. You saw some mistakes earlier by the San Francisco special teams, but this could be the most critical mistake of the day right there. You see how aggressively these San Francisco 49ers are right there on top of that ball. That's Darren Jordan, number 90, getting a bat on that football. There were 6 49ers down there right on that ball.
Now a muff
After review,
places the
play
ball.
stands as ruled. The actual spot of the muff, the first touching, was the 35-yard line. San Francisco, 1st and 10.
So a bad break for the Eagles, but then a good break for them because Harris might not have touched it. They didn't overrule it because they didn't have enough conclusive evidence. So the Niners will get the ball on the Eagle 35.
The difference between a muff and a fumble is very simple. In a muff, you've never had control of the football. Once you control the football and then lose it, you fumble it.
See if the Eagles can get themselves out of this jam and the Niners in a 7-7 game. Rathman and Henderson in the backs, and Rathman gets the call. And the fullback brings it to the 31-yard line, a gain of 4 yards.
This is the kind of situation that the Eagle defense has faced often, particularly in the last 3 weeks. A turnover that puts them down in their own territory, and they have been masterful at minimizing the damage. They need to do it right here. They need to be able to stop the 49ers right here.
And there's a man who has yet to catch a pass, Jerry Rice. Rice has been shut out so far by the Eagle defense. John Taylor has caught a TD pass. Dexter Carter has come in the game at running back. 2nd down and 6. Young with time, and a short pass to Rice, who finally gets on the receiving board, and Byron Evans, and that's got to be one of the shortest passes he ever caught.
Well, they want to get that ball into Jerry Rice. If he doesn't get a pass early in the game, he tends to press a little bit. Mike Holmgren concerned about getting him the ball here. Watch this shot he takes. He gets bumped, blasted right there. Back inside, gets hit again and dragged from the back of his jersey by Byron Evans, and still catches the football. Not a big game, but he now has a catch. He can settle down a little bit.
3rd down and 4. Niners are in field goal range now. Young swings it out to John Taylor and out of bounds, and the 49ers have another 1st down. Eric Allen was covering on that crossing pattern and a gain of 8 yards.
So tough when you have 2 great receivers. Jerry Rice in this situation takes the defense deep, and Taylor merely comes across underneath. Well, you got to respect the speed downfield of Rice, and suddenly the ball is into the hands of Taylor.
Taylor has caught 4 passes for 52 yards and the touchdown. 2 tight ends and Keith Henderson in the backfield on 1st down. Henderson gets about 3 yards, hitting him head on Byron Evans, the middle linebacker, and Reggie White.
One of the things that continues to amaze people, and Eric Allen, the cornerback for the Eagles, talked about it yesterday, is the fact that when you watch Jerry Rice in film, on tape, he runs the same speed on every pattern, full speed on every pattern, so you can't tell whether he's going to get the ball or not. Well, it's obvious that the Eagles have said we've got to take Rice out of the game plan. Well, in doing that, they've made it open for John Taylor, who's come back to bite them again and again.
Big edge rushing for the Niners. 2nd down and 5. Henderson off tackle. It'll be 3rd down and short as Henderson gets inside the 15.
Ball is loose.
Steve Wallace and number 96 Clyde Simmons exchange greetings as the clock winds down to our 2-minute warning. And a chance for the Niners to talk over 3rd down and short coming up in a tie game, 7-7.
When Bud Carson came in to take over this Philadelphia defense, This team already had a defensive personality because of Buddy Allen, or because of Buddy Ryan. But Buddy left nothing. He left no playbooks, nothing. They had to kind of start from scratch defensively, but they did have great people on the field. And their personality has evolved even more into a defensive team because of their problems that they have had offensively.
And there's Mike Holmgren. As the chess match goes on, the offensive coordinator of the Niners, they have a 3rd and 1. You got George Allen on your mind, and he was an original.
He was there somewhere. Well, a big play for both teams here.
And on the bootleg, Young dives forward, and he's going to have the first down. A couple of Eagles had a shot at him, and Steve Young, with good speed there, scrambles and gets the first down and picks up 3 yards to keep it going for the 49ers.
One of the things the 49ers have been able to do, as Steve Young has played more and more for them during 91, is give him the plays that he runs best. And this is one of them, the bootleg. He simply outruns the coverage. The Eagles played it well, but Young simply outran them to the sideline.
31 yards on the day for Steve Young, as both Simmons and Evans had a shot at him. So it's 1st and goal at the 10-yard line. Penalty markers fly all over the place.
Roy Foster missed the count on that one.
False start before the snap. Number 67 offense.
That's your man.
5 yards, still 1st down.
I'm sure when this crowd sees that running by Steve Young, their minds flash to another running quarterback, Randall Cunningham, who did so much for this team with his ability to run the football as well as his ability to throw it. And of course, his absence, a big question mark on this season, although McMahon certainly has stepped in and played well when he's been healthy.
1st and goal on the 15 now. Inside handoff to Henderson. Dives to the 10. Penalty marker is down. Jerome Brown and William Thomas, and let's see if there's a late hit against the Eagles. And that's the call.
That's exactly what it is.
That'll be another 1st down, half the distance.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Number 48 defense after the play. Half the distance from the dead ball spot. 1st down, ball to
Wes
go.
Hopkins, number 48.
Watch for Hopkins at the end of this run by Henderson. Good blocking inside by McIntyre, number 62, as he folds in behind Zapolo. Jerome Brown gets a hold of everybody in there, but it was Wes Hopkins, number 48, coming in late over the top that drew the flag.
1st and goal. The ball is at the Eagle 5. Powers his way to about the 2-yard line. Thrown back by Byron Evans, but it'll be 2nd down as the clock continues to run. Eagles giving the 49ers a big opportunity when they muffed a San Francisco punt.
Dick, I have been impressed with the ability of the 49ers to run the football here today. They have really done a good job against the number 2 rushing defense in the NFL. Right. Henderson running well. Young has gained yardage, but it has helped them to balance out their attack. A chance now to punch it in.
Rathman gets over. Touchdown. Ben Smith is arguing that Rathman was down, but it'll be a touchdown for the 49ers, and they break the tie. 3rd touchdown of the year rushing for Tom Rathman. His first 2 last week against the Lions.
Tom Rathman specializes in those short north-south runs. There's not a better power runner in the NFL than Tom Rathman.
Michael Kofer with Procop holding. And it's 14-7 in favor of the 49ers with exactly 1 minute remaining in the first half. There was the touchdown by Rathman, but a mistake by the Eagles. An alert play by the Niners set it up.
How do you get comfortable?
I wear Comfort Deck shoes by Florsheim. I'll tell you,
They're the most comfortable shoes I've ever worn. Try a pair for 30 days. If you don't agree, you'll get your money back. Get Comfort Tech by Florsheim and get comfortable.
If you thought a really powerful business computer was way out of your reach, we've got news for you. Introducing the affordable Macintosh Classic 2.
Rathman giving the 49ers a 14-7 lead.
But it was Jesse Sapolo, the center, who makes this possible. Watch this great block as Sapolo will take Mike Golick and take him right out of the play here. Just driving him to the right, opening room inside. Jerome Brown coming in, but too much room for him to cover. And Rathman will just power it, continue on in through that hole. You see there the trap right at the last second on Brown from the outside to keep him off the tackle.
Coper will be kicking off, and back deep, Rod Harris and Thomas Sanders for the Eagles. They don't have much time to try to get closer. It's Sanders who will down it for a touchback. And the Eagles and Jim McMahon will start from the 20-yard line. Eagles have 2 timeouts remaining.
McMahon always wearing that dark visor, and of course you saw him in the interview in our pregame show with the dark glasses on, and people say that's image. Not really true. McMahon at the age of 6 was trying to take off a set of guns and was using a fork to try and untie a knot. Jammed the fork into his right eye. Wore a patch for a long time and has had to wear dark glasses almost all of his life to protect that eye.
He's perfect, 6 for 6 in this half. First down on the 20. Directing traffic, and his pass incomplete. It was intended for Fred Barnett. First time he's gone to Barnett today, and a host of 49ers, including free safety Todd Bowles, defending.
One of the things you do to a pass rusher if he's giving you fits, you go to his legs, and they hate it. Watch it right here. Antone Davis cuts right there, although he had help behind. That will not endear him to Charles Haley, but it will to Jim McMahon.
That's the first incompleted pass thrown by McMahon. Second down and 10. Haley might have jumped, and the pass intended for Roy Green is overthrown. Haley might have moved. Gordon McCarter will explain.
McMahon angry. He missed a wide open receiver.
Offside, number 94, defense, 5 yards, repeat, second down.
Coming up on the NFL Today Dockers halftime report, Greg and Terry will have all the scores, highlights, and latest information. Instead of third down and 10, second and 5 following that 5-yard penalty. The Niners have been penalized 9 times to only 2 for the Eagles.
And 3 of those offsides penalties because of that staggered count for McMahon.
He's operating out of the shotgun here on second down. His pass is nearly intercepted by Merton Hanks, the rookie from Iowa, on the pass intended for Sanders out of the backfield.
Both of those last 2 passes thrown very softly and without a lot of zip. Let's see if McMahon is able to get forward on this pass because it floats, and he's very lucky it was not intercepted. The defender right there, Merton Hanks, who had a big pass or a big play last week as he forced a fumble and scooped it up.
49ers with a 5-minute edge in time of possession. They were incredibly dominant that way against the Lions last week and picking up where they left off. Third down and 5. This pass is complete. Keith Jackson with 38 seconds to go. It's good enough for a first down. The Eagles are going to have to hurry up. Keep in mind they have 2 timeouts left, but the clock is working against them. Looking to get the ball in field goal range if they can. His pass to Roy Green is caught shy of midfield, and the Eagles will have to call a timeout.
The same pattern we saw just moments ago from Roy Green when McMahon missed him, and the smart quarterback, the smart play callers, and Richie Kotite is that. Come right back to those plays, and they pick up another first down.
Philadelphia now left with one timeout remaining, and the ball is at the Philadelphia 49. Next Sunday, the NFL resumes on CBS. It's a CBS doubleheader starting at 12:30 Eastern. Lions and the Bears, they're battling for first in the NFC Central. 49ers will go to Atlanta to face the Falcons. Saints and Rams, and the Cardinals at the Cowboys. All begins with the NFL today at 12:30 Eastern. The very last word before kickoff. Charles Haley was shaken up, by the way, and he is out of the game right now.
Dick, I asked McMahon, I said, what were you doing when you injured your eye on that particular situation? He's playing Cowboys and Indians. He said, I was a Cowboy. He said, that's the last time I liked the Cowboys.
Ted Washington has replaced him in the line. First down at the 49-yard line. McMahon gets hit at midfield. The clock is running. He gained a yard, and that's Zeke Bratkowski, former NFL quarterback, calling the timeout in the last one by the Eagles. Tim Harris and Ted Washington on the tackle.
Certainly not what the Eagles were hoping to see. They don't want to see McMahon have to run, and they certainly did not want to see the time come off the clock there. Tim Harrison, Charles Haley have been used at the outside wide rushing points today in the same lineup, sometimes with three other defensive linemen. You end up actually with 4 players that are considered defensive linemen, although both Harris and Haley capable of dropping back into coverage, and that will give you fits if you're trying to protect the quarterback.
It'll be 2nd and 9. Rich Kotite with no timeouts remaining. Harris trying to fit in with the 49ers. Since he's been to San Francisco, he's been charged with drunken driving. That was on October 11th. So he's got a couple of battles to fight. So he's in there with Charles Haley on 2nd down and 9. Time running out for the Eagles. McMahon unable to run. Fires to Green, who stops the clock with 3 seconds to go, and McMahon gets up limping.
Very, very slow getting up on that. You see how slowly he's moving off with that right leg?
Jeff Kemp is the backup quarterback. He was signed a couple of weeks ago during the bye week, and he spent a lot of time. In fact, when we left the Eagles practice yesterday, he was still looking at film in their office, and he's going to get the call right now.
Now, McMahon, of course, running. As we said, this is the last thing they want to see him do, and he just gets bumped by Haley right there and has to catch himself on that right leg, and it was catching the balance right there that hurt him.
Kemp thrown into the game on 3rd down and 1, throws a Hail Mary, and that'll end the first half. Don Griffin was defending, so let's see how McMahon comes out in the second half and whether Kemp will be in there. And that is the end of the first half with the score. The 49ers 14 and the Eagles 7.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, engineered like no other car in the world. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires. And by Budweiser, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Chevrolet, the heartbeat of America, the cars more people depend on. Norelco patented lift and cut shavers. We make close comfortable. And by the American Express card. Membership has its privileges.
Back at Veterans Stadium, Dick Stockton along with Merlin Olsen. It does not look like Jim McMahon is going to come out in the second half. He got hurt in the next to last play of the first half, and Jeff Kemp has been warming up. This was the expression on his face moments ago. As you know, as Merlin reported, playing this game with a knee brace, was shaken up, had to come out. Jeff Kemp already is the 5th quarterback to play for the Eagles this season.
And Dick, I really think if McMahon goes down now, that this Eagles season, for all practical purposes, is over. And that's a hard thing to say this early in the year, but he is the only one that can really keep them sharp enough offensively to keep them in the chase.
Well, when they lost Randall Cunningham, that was a big blow in its own right, and they had McMahon with an experienced backup, maybe the best backup along with Phil Simms in the National Football League, but now Kemp acquired from Seattle.
Kemp has done a marvelous job of learning this offense in 2 weeks, but he is not the kind of quarterback that can go in and start for you and win for you, or he'd still be in Seattle with Chuck Knox.
He has been well traveled. Been with the Rams, been with the 49ers, and coming off the bench, this is what he did. The numbers with Seattle: 12 interceptions, and the last one he threw was Ronnie Lott picked it off, and the Raiders come from behind overtime victory in Seattle.
Well, that's a category you don't want to lead the league in, and that's exactly where Jeff Kemp found himself. He has been very effective coming off the bench as a backup. He does that extremely well. He does not handle the starting job well.
Mike Cofer kicking off for the 49ers, and the kick sails into the end zone. Thomas Sanders will down it there. So Jeff Kemp will bring out the play for the Eagles. So they have used Randall Cunningham, Jim McMahon, Brad Gable, and Pat Ryan. And now Jeff Kemp, the 5th quarterback. You don't often see 5 quarterbacks in action by midseason, do you?
They're very lucky that they had the bye this past week, because that gave Kemp actually 2 weeks to get comfortable in this offense. He said, I know the whole system. He said, I don't know some of the subtle reads, but I can call the plays and I can run the plays.
First down for the Eagles, trailing the 49ers 14-7, and it's Heath Sherman. Carter, the nose tackle, and a gain of only 1. The Eagles have averaged under 1.5 yards per carry. Now, they've only run 9 times, but they have not mounted any kind of running attack. Meanwhile, the 49ers nearly 5 yards a carry.
Well, and that's one thing you'd love to be able to do in this situation, is go to the running game. But the Philadelphia Eagles simply don't have one at the moment. Not in this game, and it's ground to a halt on the season as well.
They haven't had one in the last several years. Second down and 9. This time Byers, and Keith brings it out to the 25-yard line. Charles Haley was the first to grab it.
David Alexander with a huge job inside. Number 72 on Michael Carter. Carter has been getting his weight down. At one time, the most feared nose tackle in the NFL. He's healthy this year after having severe foot and ankle problems last year. Playing better, has got his weight down to where he can contribute in there. Not the player he once was, but a very solid performer.
Third down and 5. Roy Green in motion. Haley is chasing Kemp, and he is tackled beyond the line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th down. Loss of 1.
You've got to have tenacity if you're going to be a pass rusher, and you don't give up. Tim Harris, number 92, gets cut, knocked down. There's Haley coming from the backside. He's not going to quit. That's one thing that Jeff Kemp will bring you, is some mobility. He can run the football.
Haley with 3 sacks in the first half of the 4 that the Niners picked up. And Jeff Eagles kicking it. Sanjay Beach on the return, and will give the 49ers good field position, as Beach is ridden out of bounds close to midfield, and that was Scott Kolkowski making the tackle.
Charles Haley is a thorn in the side of a lot of people, but today he's been a nightmare for the Eagles. All over Jim McMahon, of course, right there to make that last play on McMahon's replacement, Jeff Kemp.
You got a feel for McMahon. Haley getting underway with 3 sacks today. Very brittle, and knew, especially with the offensive line he had in front of him, that it could be a long day. For him, it's been a short day. Keith Henderson rides the ball into Eagle territory on first down.
Eagle team has talked excitedly about getting McMahon back, and in the interim, they have fought and played and done everything they could to stay in the race. Defensively, they've had some huge games, but I think seeing him go down again will take some of the heart out of this team, in spite of the kind of character they have.
2nd down and 5. Henderson has already gained 58 yards. He had 104 last week. This time, Harry Sidney in the lineup. On the counter, gets inside the 45-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and a couple, as making the tackle Andre Waters and Reggie White, who needs some adjustment with his equipment.
Every time we look at those injured quarterbacks, we remember another quarterback who's up here in the press box somewhere, Randall Cunningham. We talk about running game. They don't have one. Well, when Randall was here, they did have one. They had one in Randall. So his absence, more than just the absence of a quarterback for this team.
3rd down and 3 for the Niners in Eagle territory. Young rolling out, and his pass to John Taylor is caught, and a 1st down. Gain of 7 yards. Taylor caught the first touchdown pass thrown by Young today, 21 yards to put the Niners in front, 7-0.
Taylor has been the receiver of choice, and that pass is one you like to see because Young threw it low, so Taylor could go down and scoop it off the ground. That ball thrown high with the defenders behind him would be what Don Meredith used to call a medicine ball. He said they throw you those high ones and those backs come up and you go get some medicine.
That's a good one. 5 catches for 58 yards for Taylor and a 1st down at the 37. Henderson to the 35-yard line. Steve Young, in talking to George Seifert, he says, I appreciate Young so much now that I think he's the type of quarterback that we can win a championship with. And that's the first time Seifert said that about the 49er backup quarterback.
This 49er team, so much of their confidence, so much of their personality and identity locked up in Joe Montana, that they really had to struggle during the early part of this season.
2nd down and 8 with 5 minutes going by here in the 3rd quarter. Young's pass is incomplete, and let's see if there was an interception.
No way.
William Thomas started a run with the ball, and the pass was intended for Jerry Rice, and the Eagles were all over his back.
Jerry Rice is dangerous wherever he is on the field, but if he gets inside, you're in trouble. Eric Allen said, I'm not going to let him get inside. I'm going to try and force him outside. Well, he got inside there, but Eric Allen all over Jerry Rice. That ball bounced out so quickly, Rice had no chance at it.
Rice has caught only 1 pass for a measly 2 yards. He's at the top of your picture, 3rd down and 8. Young is going for Sherrard. He'll be shy of the 1st down, I think, by less than a yard. We may have a measurement, and Sherrard is upset. He did not see the sticks. Ben Smith was covering on the play, and he definitely is short by 1.
I think you may see them go for it here. No, you're not. You're going to see them go for the field goal here. A full yard, and Seifert, not willing to take the gamble in this situation, will put his field goal team on the field.
Last week, Koper missed his only attempt from 46 yards. He is 6 of 11 on the season, and this will be a 45-yard attempt. The longest field goal by Koper this year was from 47 yards.
He's only 1 for 3 beyond the 40-yard line. It has not been a spectacular year for Mike Koper. What's going on the field? We would like to know too. One of those official conferences perhaps checking the spot of the football. That's the only thing I can think of.
I don't believe they're reviewing anything, and if they are, it would have to be where Sherrard went out of bounds. The official spotted it as missing the first down by a yard. That has to be the situation.
Gordon McCarter talking to Joe Prokop. Talk to us, Gordon. Let us know what's going on.
That's where it's good for officials to say we are reviewing or whatever they're doing.
After review, the play stands as ruled. Completed pass, fourth down.
A question then about whether he had control of the football.
45-yard attempt coming up by Cofer. And the kick is good. Mike Cofer has extended the 49er lead to 10 with a 45-yard field goal. It's now 17-7, the Niners, with 9:19 to go in the third. San Francisco 49ers playing the first of 3 straight road games, and for their next 5 on the road, leading here 17-7, and Jeff Kemp and Zeke Bratkowski going over the offense.
Well, Zeke, a former quarterback for the Rams and the Green Bay Packers, he has lived with Jeff Kemp since Kemp arrived here from Seattle and has done a great job. In fact, Kemp said, I couldn't have learned this offense without Zeke's help. As a quarterback, he knew exactly what I had to know.
Here's the kickoff, and Ron Harris at the 6 returns for the Eagles. You heard that crunching hit, and Harris is decked at the 22-yard line. And making the tackle for the 49ers is Greg Cox. A word about him, he did not come in with the team. He flew in on Saturday because he had the flu, but he has made 2 special teams tackles today.
One of the reasons he's on this team, in fact, the reason he's here, is for plays like this. Gets off the block and puts his helmet right in. Antonio Goss also in there, number 98, getting a piece of the action.
First down on the 23-yard line. Kemp, the 5th quarterback to call signals for the Eagles this year in regular season.
Well, you don't say go out and win the game for us. More important that they try and get a drive going here. Short passes and runs.
Here's play action, and on a bootleg, Waymer is chasing Kemp, who will pick up close to first down yardage. The crowd likes his hustle.
I mentioned his mobility. He told me just before the game, he said, one thing I can do is run with the football. He said, I'm not as fast as Steve Young or Randall Cunningham, but I'm not afraid to pull it down and take off. That was a designed rollout and made nice yardage.
He gained 106 yards, averaging nearly 5 yards a carry for the Seattle Seahawks. He picked up 7 there. Second down and 3 on the Eagle 30. He fires. Diving is shy of the first down by a yard at least. Tim Harris in on the tackle, and it'll be third down and short.
David Alexander, the center, is responsible for making all of the line calls, looking up and down. And today that means giving a lot of help to the tackles on the outside. He's had to work man on man, almost alone inside on Michael Carter. Although on that play, he did get a little bit of help on the inside from Rob Selby. That's one of the rookies we told you was going to be working in there today.
And Ron Harris, Tim Harris, has left the game for the 49ers. Third down and 2. Kemp was going to try to run with it. The whistle blew, and he could not, so he is trapped back at the 25-yard line. He loses 6 on the play.
Ooh, and Jeff Kemp is flat on his back and not moving on the field.
Brad Gable would be the quarterback if Kemp can't play, but then neither Kemp nor McMahon could return to the game if Gable goes in. He is the inactive player, but the designated third quarterback in uniform today.
Dick, when you cannot run the football effectively, and these linemen know exactly where to find you, look out. Watch again as you see the pop.
That was Larry Roberts.
91 Larry Roberts, the first shot on him, and then a stack on top of
and
Jeff
Brad
Kemp.
Gable's going to have to come in next time. They're going to kick it now, though. Jeff Kemp is still on his back.
They're just bringing out the backboard, and that is not a good sign. You see a forearm from Roberts that gets the head of Kemp right over here as he drives across. And it was obvious that Kemp was unconscious. The doctors were there immediately. They will not take any chances, and much of this, we have to tell you, is precautionary, as it should be. They're being very careful. It would appear that Kemp is conscious. They just don't want to take any chances at all.
And this injury has really taken the wind out of the sails of the Eagles, who have survived because of their brilliant defense all season long. Brad Gable, the emergency quarterback, will handle the rest of the way. McMahon was throwing with Gable, so we're not sure whether McMahon could go. We don't know what he has communicated to the Eagles coaches down on the field. He's stretching as if maybe he can give it a shot. If he goes in, then they still have Gable, but if Gable goes in, they cannot use McMahon anymore. They're bringing out the stretcher. So very unpleasant for a Philadelphia Eagle team that actually got off to its best start. Believe it or not, in 10 years, they were 3-1, despite the loss of Randall Cunningham in the opening game of the season. McMahon led them to some victories, and then their quarterback situation deteriorated with all of these injuries. And it's just tough because this has been a great Eagle defensive unit, and there you see all the quarterbacks that they've used, including Don McPherson in preseason.
It's been a nightmare, and as I mentioned, to see McMahon go down would, I think, be the final nail. And I would question then the wisdom of playing Jeff Kemp a great deal. I think the season basically is over, and I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to have to bite the bullet on that. And at that point, I think you put Brad Gable in and let the rookie get some experience. Even though he had trouble and threw some interceptions, he also made some very big plays over the past few weeks, and I think has a future. I can tell you as a player that these are frightening times on both sides of the line of scrimmage. No one wants to see a player hurt, especially hurt seriously. And there's great concern on that 49er bench as well as on the Eagle bench.
Yeah, this casts a pall throughout the entire stadium. Right now, we're going to break away here at Veterans Stadium and take you to our New York studios and Greg Gumbel. Greg?
All right, Dick, while we have the chance, let's bring you up to date on what's happening in New Orleans. Brad Muster from 6 yards out scores the first rushing touchdown against the New Orleans defense this year. The Bears have taken the lead 13-10 in the third quarter, Dick.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. That's Jeff Kemp, who was signed after he was released by the Seattle Seahawks a couple of weeks ago. Joined the Eagles and had 2 weeks to prepare for this game as a backup because the Eagles had a bye week last week. And was going to back up Jim McMahon, who came in with all sorts of physical problems in his own right, including a brace on his right knee after going arthroscopic surgery and missing 2.5 games. McMahon was knocked out a play before the end of the first half. Kemp threw a Hail Mary to end the first half, started the second half, and is injured and is being taken off on a stretcher. Right now, we're going to send you back to New York and more updates from Greg Gumbel.
All right, Dick, we'll get you completely caught up. The Rams in Atlanta, Chris Miller having a banner day. This is a 55-yard touchdown pass to Michael Haynes. Third touchdown pass of the day for Chris Miller. It's the Falcons 28-0 in the third. Let's go back to Philadelphia to Dick and Merlin.
Jeff's father, Jack Kemp, is here in the stands today, and I'm sure is on his way down to the tunnel to see exactly what the situation is for his son,
all of the Eagles,
All-Pro quarterback.
All of the Eagles have gone over to Jeff Kemp as he's being wheeled from the field.
And you see the strong right hand come up. A good sign. In fact, a very good sign, I would say.
And a standing ovation in response.
An injury of that kind very often not only stops the action on the field, but emotionally drains the feeling out of the two teams. It will be interesting to see what happens now in the next few minutes for both the Eagles and the 49ers.
Jeff Beagles will kick it away on 4th down. Gets off to fine kick. Sanjay Beach backpedals to the 30. And all of a sudden, the crowd, buoyed by Jeff Kemp's feeling of spirit as he was taken off, hurt, appreciates the special teams play. 44-yard kick. We'll be back.
An emotional moment just a short time ago as Jeff Kemp wheeled off McMahon and the rest of the teammates over there. And then this from Jeff Kemp. Let's see if that strength carries over to the defense.
Henderson on the pitch. Turns the corner and picks up nearly 9 yards on the play. Making the tackle, Wes Hopkins and Ben Smith. So let's see if the Eagles defense can force something. And the Eagles so far today in the turnover story, only one turnover, that by Philadelphia when there was a muff punt by Rod Harris, and that resulted in a touchdown that put the 49ers in front. They lead 17-7. It'll be 2nd down and 1 for the Niners. Just under 7 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Henderson has the 1st down. Or close to it. We'll have to wait to see where they spot the ball. Reggie White on the stop. And we're going to measure this one.
George Seifert, I think, wanting to come back and reestablish control of the football game, has gone to the pounding running game. Very close to the 1st down. If they miss it, they'll have another shot at it.
No measurement. They've changed it, and it'll be 3rd down and less than a yard. Looking at the Polaroids from up on top is the 49er defensive unit.
Larry Roberts checking to see where everybody's positioned.
There his Rathman, and I think he might have been stopped on 3rd down.
Very, very close to a 1st down. I believe they will have to measure this one. You see the spot by the officials to the outside. They'll look first for the markers, and yes, Gordon Carter said, wait, come on in. We're going to have a look at this. No? No, he's saying you don't even need that.
Fourth down, and Joe Prokop will kick it away. So the Eagle defense stops this 49er drive, and the 3rd punt of the game by Prokop. Rod Harris is back deep. 17-7, the Niners lead. Try to get a piece of it, and they might have. It might have been deflected, and the ball takes a 49ers roll and goes out of bounds at the 20. Jim McMahon apparently is going to go back in. Gable remains the emergency quarterback, and here are the cheers.
Injury is a part of this game that McMahon understands very well. He's had many of them.
A lot of courageous people wearing green today, including guys named McMahon and Kemp. 1st down on the 21. John Hudson is in at left guard on 1st down, and the pass to Barnett. He needs about 1.5 yards for the 1st down, and making the play was Mark Lee. Barnett coming in as the leading receiver for the Eagles. He caught 3 against the Saints a couple of weeks ago.
The emotional factor has certainly adjusted itself in this ball game very instantly after the injury. One thing that has not changed in this ball game, there is still a mismatch with that offensive line. And unless they can raise their performance several notches, McMahon is going to have the same problems he had earlier in the game.
2nd down and 1. McMahon's pass complete and fumbled. And it's going to be Philadelphia ball as DeLong did not save the ball in time. And it is going to rule a catch by Barnett.
And a first down
And a first
well.
down, right.
So that was a big break for the Philadelphia Eagles. They've had some bad breaks today. Watch the quick pass. Good protection for McMahon. He does not hold the ball long. Fires outside. The hit right here knocks the ball loose. But watch as it is scooped up going out of bounds. And DeLong did not have control before he got it out of bounds.
Now I wonder whether they're going to review that one. Don Griffin, by the way, provided the hit on Barnett, and DeLong tried to keep it in bounds. And I think they've got to review that one, because that's a close call. And that could go the 49ers' way. DeLong was sliding as he picked up possession of the ball into the out-of-bounds area.
Let's go back and look at it. The rule is very simple. If he controls the football before he touches the sideline with the ball or with any part of his body, now that's the thing to look for. The ball is very slow there. Oh, look, the ball is sitting on his shoulder. He does not have control of the ball. That ball will go back to the Eagles. The officials on the field are having to see it at normal speed. You go ahead and try and call this at normal speed. Watch this, the ball rolling, and try and figure out where everybody is. We get to look at that at slow speed. You get a feeling for how difficult their job is.
I'd rather be up here calling the game with you.
It's a little easier to be the second guesser rather than the first, right?
I think you pointed out the key deal there, and that was DeLong did not have possession, so it should be Philadelphia ball and the first down. Crowd knows it.
After review, the spot of the fumble has been determined to be the 33-yard line. The ball is brought to that spot and is enough for a first down.
4:25 remain in the third quarter. Jim McMahon has come back in at quarterback on this series after Jeff Kemp was taken off on a stretcher, and the Eagles have a first down on their 33-yard line, trailing San Francisco by 10 points. McMahon's pass is caught by Keith Byers. Lee and DeLong, and Byers gets the crowd going a la Arsenio.
We mentioned at the beginning of our broadcast, the one thing McMahon can do is to get the ball into the right hands. Keith Byers and Keith Jackson have been silent weapons over the past weeks. Not so with McMahon in the lineup. He fires it right here, and Byers picks up another big first down.
McMahon is 12 of 14 for 151 yards and a touchdown. That's a sensational game for the brittle quarterback, and a first down on the Niners 46. And the quick pass, Roy Green. And the Eagles are in rhythm offensively for the first time today, and they get the first down, a gain of 11 with Don Griffin defending Roy Green.
You'll notice how quickly the ball is coming out of that backfield. McMahon is not going to throw long passes. He's not going to put those knees at risk. I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple of draw plays and screens thrown in there as well.
Roy Green playing a lot more than a lot of people expected when he was picked up 5 games ago. 34-year-old veteran of 13 years in the league, but he has played well, and now Calvin Williams is back in action, so they've got another receiver. They're going to measure, and it should be a first down, and it is.
It was interesting to hear Eric Allen, who talked to us about receivers trying to put him to sleep and work on his mind. One of the names he talked about was Roy Green. He said one guy who really could do that to me was Roy Green.
If they're reviewing this, because the marker shows a first down for the Eagles, so we don't know what the delay is here.
After review, the runner's knees touched the ground. The ball was dead, 1 yard behind the spot where he spotted it. We move the ball back and we'll have second down.
So it'll be second down and 1 instead of a first down.
Watch Roy Green. Catches the football, goes for yardage here. The knee is down there, and then his whole body slides ahead for a yard. That's what they're taking away from him, is that extra yard.
I don't think that's bad for the Eagles. I think they've got more possibilities right here at second and 1.
If that was fourth down, it would have been a big problem.
I think. They're on the 37-yard line of San Francisco. Heath Sherman would have lost a yard. Darren Jordan, inside linebacker, playing for Mike Walter, was there, but if it's against the Niners, and it appears that it is, it'll be a first down anyway.
It appeared that 2 of the Niners at least got an early start on the right side of that defensive line, and they have had big problems staying onside today.
94 defense, 5 yards. The penalty makes it a first down.
So Charles Haley jumped.
You see Haley moving first, and then Darren Jordan inside. I think they were the 2 that got the call. Haley obviously in the lead, breaking the play.
Is that right?
There have been 12 penalties in the game, 10 marked off against the 49ers. Less than 2.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. 17-7, the Niners lead, but a first down for the Eagles on the 31. And Jim McMahon calls the timeout. That'll be the first timeout of the second half. .2:14 remaining.
You're watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.
When they were dominant, they were unbeaten on the road, which is great, but 0-3 this year on the road, losses by 2, 3, and 6 points.
When we talked to George Seifert yesterday, George said something interesting. He said, we have to learn to maintain our composure in the midst of bad calls and in hostile environments. But I think he's saying that we have to do that with new people, without Montana, without Ronnie Lott, without some of the other key veterans that are not in there.
First down on the 32 after the timeout by McMahon, and this pass extended to Roy Green, incomplete, and that will bring up second down. Talk about the road. The 49ers, after this game, have 3 of their next 4 away from Candlestick Park, and they've got some tough road games in Atlanta, New Orleans, and then on November 25th against the Rams in Anaheim. So 3 division opponents on the road coming up in their next 4 games.
That's an impressive record. Undefeated over the last 2 seasons on the road. King of the road. George Seifert and his crew. Well, I'd like to continue streaking with that kind of victory here today, but the Eagles may have something to say about that.
Sure they will. Second down and 10. McMahon loops it up for Byers. Looking for the flag. They get it. Not where Byers was, but back of the line of scrimmage, and we may have personal foul, roughing the passer against the 49ers, Tim Harris.
Number 92, Tim Harris, right here is going to come in and bust McMahon after the play is over. His bad boy image from his Green Bay days continues, and you cannot touch the hands to the head or face of the quarterback without drawing that 15-yard penalty, and that is a stupid play from Tim Harris.
And frankly, a lot of people on the 49er coaching staff are not really sure how good Tim Harris is. He's kind of on an audition situation, even though they did trade him.
Well, I think it's a matter of time if he is guilty of his problems out in San Diego, and it would appear that or in LA or in San Francisco, we get up the coast to it. He's going to be suspended anyway.
First down on the 17. Harris comes out of the game. The Eagles are threatening here. McMahon gets hit from behind, and that was Roberts with the sack. That is the sixth sack of the game. 6. And the second for Larry Roberts.
And you want to say to Jim McMahon, throw it away, Jim. Just throw it away. Every time he runs, I'm sure that on the sideline, his coaches are wondering if he's going to survive. Hit from behind, Roberts takes him down, and watch this again. He's frustrated, there's no question about it. But there's the man who's even more worried. I bet he's nauseous after a run like that.
Eagles looking to stay in field goal range. Trailing by 10, second down and 13 on the 20-yard line. 1:33 remaining in the third quarter. McMahon's pass incomplete. Byers, the intended receiver, and he took a big hit from the former Redskin, Todd Bowles.
McMahon getting time to throw this football and pointing to himself and saying, that was my fault. They're able to pick up the blitz. McMahon is able to get this pass away. You see Haley driving from the outside, getting stopped and absorbed on that last play by Antone Davis.
Or as Manute Bol used to say in the NBA, my bad.
I have to tell you, I think the best offensive tackle in the world would be a big sponge with fish hooks in it.
3rd and 13. McMahon going for Barnett, double covered, no flags, and that'll bring up 4th down, and the Eagles will go for 3 here as Merton Hanks and Don Griffin doubled Barnett well.
McMahon throwing this ball deep, and as you said, there's no question there's good coverage on this play. Watch the bumping that takes place here. Barnett pushing, Griffin pushing, the ball really uncatchable, and McMahon had thrown it out there where really no one could reach it.
Roger Ruzek, who lives in San Francisco, will attempt the field goal. He has missed just 2 this year. Jeff Beagle's the holder. This is from 37 yards, and it's blocked. Beagles winds up with it and goes out of bounds. But the 49ers have snuffed out an Eagles scoring threat here after Jim McMahon had brought the team downfield, and it'll be Niners ball, still leading by 10.
And that was so important on the emotional side for the Eagles. A highly emotional defense took the field after the Kemp injury, got the football, the offense drove it back, and it ends right there with the block. Boy, that'll deflate you so very quickly.
Maybe Antonio Goss, who got a hand on this.
Let's watch it from right here, coming from the top of your screen as he drives inside, splits the gap right there, and lunges in to get his hands on the football. Number 98, you're right, it was Antonio Goss.
Dexter Carter, who hasn't had a chance to carry much on first down, penalty marker down. So the Eagles can't contain their frustration, and that'll be a penalty and a first down against Philadelphia. Hopkins, who was called earlier on a personal foul, is nailed again.
Controlling your emotions on the field. You want to play emotional football.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit, number 48 defense, 15 yards, first down.
Left side of your screen. Watch how late this hit is. The play is stopped dead. The whistle is blown, and in comes Wes Hopkins to take a shot at the ball carrier. He's lucky he's not ejected from the game.
There's Goss, who blocked the kick, not with his hands, actually his body when he dove in, blocking the field goal attempt.
It made the ball, spotted the ball back on the 35, and then moved it back up.
1:03 remaining in the third quarter. 49ers lead 17-7, and they have the ball on the Eagles 33. Steve Henderson has nailed a loss on the play. And right now, for an update, let's check in again with Greg Gumbel. Greg?
All right, Dick, in New Orleans, the Saints have jumped back on top. Watch Bobby Hebert find Floyd Turner over the middle for 8 yards. It is 17-13. That's Bobby Hebert, Dick, in the third.
Greg, whatever you call him is good enough for us.
We know you knew who he was. Well, they know who he is in New Orleans for sure. He's done a great job for them during this year, although he's had his problem staying in the ball game. In fact, just 2 weeks ago was knocked out of a game here by the Eagles.
By Jerome Brown, as a matter of fact, who had to come out of the game earlier today and came back in. Well, that'll be the end of the third quarter here at Veterans Stadium with the score, the 49ers 17 and the Eagles 7. And our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You are watching the NFL on CBS. Look at the 49ers passing by distance. They're not biting off more than they could chew, knowing they're going up against a great pass rush and good corners with the Eagles. So most of their passes have been under 10 yards. They haven't tried anything 30 or more, and that's just been smart football for the 49ers and their quarterback, Steve Young.
And they've also been able to mix the run effectively today. Not only runs by their running backs, but also runs by Steve Young.
So we start the fourth quarter. Dick Stockton and Merlin Olsen. And second down and 13 for San Francisco. On the 36, a pump and a pass and a caught catch by Jerry Rice. We'll bring up third and short. Rice has caught only 2 passes for meager yards, that for 3, and Eric Allen was defending.
Well, you can take people away from the offense, but you pay a price for doing it. In doubling Rice, they've opened room for other receivers on the day. Steve Young knows about injuries. He's in this ball game and leading this team because of an injury to Joe Montana.
Third down and long. Young being chased, and Reggie White misses him. He's got another light. And Young going to a wide open Keith Henderson. Reggie White missed a sack, and a gain of 22 yards puts the Niners in business just outside the 10-yard line. Ben Smith on the tackle.
Now, is this Steve Young's experience that gets him to stop and throw this football, or the sobering events of this day as quarterbacks have gone down one after another? Escaping right there from 2 rushmen who had a great shot at him, he stops. I think a year ago he'd have kept going and run that football. Well, it's dangerous being a referee down there. Bam! Jerry Rice is saying, hey, I got enough trouble with these guys in the green uniform.
First down on the 12, and Henderson gets to the 10-yard line. Making the tackle was Jerome Brown. So the Philadelphia Eagles vaunted defense, and I have to say this, Merlin, that on the first drive of the game, when the Niners went 80 yards, I think that kind of affected Philadelphia's defense, because I figured they clamped down on them early, and they couldn't today.
They have not been used to having people move the ball like that on them. Here is Bud Carson, obviously frustrated by the events of the day.
Second down and 8. Play fake. Young gets tripped up. And it was Mike Golick picking up the sack. Pickup of 2 yards. So it is no sack as he got beyond the line of scrimmage.
I get a feeling for the quick reactions, the athletic response, and the strong legs of Steve Young. No receiver to go to. He simply dips up inside and minimize the loss by picking up an extra yard or 2. Still long yardage on third.
He needs 6 yards for the first down. Thomas coming in strong on Young. Unmolested was William Thomas, knocking Young down, and that'll bring up 4th down for the 49ers.
Steve Young really took a shot on that one.
Mike Kofer connected with a 45-yard field goal in the third quarter, and he'll be on again. This is a 25-yard attempt with Prokop holding. Kick is good. 25-yard kick by Kofer, his second field goal of the game, and that stretches the lead now to 20-7, 49ers. 49ers should be proud of their running game today and their defensive line. After no sacks in the previous two, they've got 6. McMahon hanging in there courageously, 13 of 18 for 160 yards. Jeff Kemp, though, taken to the hospital on this play.
Plowed under in the third quarter and carefully taken off the field, and we are checking, and as soon as we know something about his condition, we will get it to you. Although we can tell you that he was conscious as he left the field, had his hand up. And a moment ago, a conversation on the field between the two quarterbacks, McMahon and Gable, and Zeke Bratkowski, as well as Richie Kotite. And I wonder if that means that there's a question about McMahon going back on the field. Well, he's got his helmet on. I'm sure what they're trying to say is at some point it doesn't make sense to put Jimmy back out there.
Kofer kicking off. Harris and now Heath Sherman are back. And running it out will be Rod Harris after a moment's hesitation. And he gets his best kickoff return of the day. 30 yards to start the Eagle work. Harry Sidney making the tackle.
A big play from the special teams by a player in part responsible for what was a big special teams breakdown earlier in the game on the punt. It was Harris, as you remember, that touched that punt that ended up in the hands of San Francisco to give them their opportunity for their second score.
That was the big special teams play of this game. It was tied at that time. The Niners led 14-7.
That, along with the block of the field goal just here in the third quarter, but that one certainly set the tide of emotion changing.
First down, and Calvin Williams. I believe that's his first catch of the game, and he is returning after spending 4 weeks on injured reserve with an injured, dislocated left shoulder. So he's back in action. Waymer making the stop, and a gain of 8.
We saw him take that shot down in Dallas, driven to the turf, out of the ball game, and out for 4 weeks, as you mentioned. But he said he's lifting heavy weights, said he doesn't have any pain in that shoulder, and really felt good about getting back on the active roster.
Rob Selby, the rookie from Auburn, in at guard. He's playing left guard. Second down and 3 on the 34 of the Eagles. And the pitch goes to Heath Sherman, and he'll have a first down. Dave Waymer with a tackle again.
Heath Sherman came into the NFL with a pair of shoulder pads that he'd worn in college to protect sore shoulders. And those are so wide that the veterans gave him the nickname a love seat in the sofa. And a big pair of shoulders coming out of Texas A&I. Got a nice smile, but he still wears that same pair of shoulder pads.
First and 10 now on the 39. McMahon's pass is caught by Keith Jackson. No. And he fumbles it, and the 49ers get it back.
Keith Jackson trying to do too much. Trying to lateral that football. He tried to throw it out, and boy, if you ever saw a bonehead play just made on that situation. Keith Byers running parallel. Jackson will deny it, but let's watch the play. He tries to lateral this football. Now, the only thing that could possibly save him here is if he's down, if his knees are down. Look at this. He's trying to toss it out. I think his knees were down before the ball came out of there. Let's go back. Maybe we can look at it again.
No, I think he was trying to lateral it.
Well, there's no question about trying to lateral.
I don't know if he was down. Let's see. This is a very, very important replay. Look upstairs coming up now.
As I mentioned, a bonehead play, and no question that he's trying to throw this ball to Keith Byers. Trying to do too much. Watch when the knees touch the ground. The knee is down, and that ball is just barely starting to move. I think that one may be returned to the Eagles.
I know Keith Jackson hopes it.
He certainly does, but because that is really a bonehead play. You can't do everything on one play. You just got to do your job.
Don Griffin was the 49er who recovered the ball as Jackson tried to lateral it to Keith Byers. That would have been enough, by the way, had he not fooled around with it. Would have been a first down into 49er territory and a gain of 13 yards.
McMahon has done a good job all day of getting the ball to those receivers in a hurry.
Coming up tonight, Game 7 of the World Series. That's a magical time in any sports year. The Braves and the Twins. One of these teams will go from last place to a world championship. 8 o'clock Eastern time. Jack Morris will be pitching for the Twins. John Smoltz for the Braves. Game 7, and the home team has won all previous 6 games. Reminds you of '87 when the Twins won the 4 games at the Metrodome and the Cardinals won the 3 games at Busch Stadium. Will this be a repeat? We'll find out tonight.
Great game last night. Little conversation between two quarterbacks. It was interesting that Steve Young got his first starting call when McMahon hurt his left knee, the same injury he now has to his right knee. And the next week, Young got his first starting assignment as they went to UNLV. And guess who the quarterback was there? Well, when McMahon told me the story, it was Randall Cunningham, starting quarterback. When Cunningham talked about it later, he said, I was the quarterback, but I was the 4th team quarterback.
Meanwhile, the call went against the Eagles. It was not reversed, and it was a lateral and a fumble, and so it's going to be 49ers ball. First down. Rathman, fumble, and I think the Niners have it, but we'll wait. Well, I saw a hand underneath there in a white shirt.
It looked like there were a couple of Eagles with an early shot at that football, but I think you're right. But under that stack right now, there are hands and wrists and arms twisting and turning. You can get your arm broken in one of those stacks.
Still Niners ball. It'll be second down coming up. 9:52 showing on the clock. Harry Sidney made the recovery. It's 20-7 in favor of the 49ers.
Watch the hit inside. 99 Jerome Brown, 92 Reggie White. And they stripped that ball away in a hurry. It was Reggie on the outside. Jerome hit him first, and then Reggie knocked the ball loose.
Second down and 11. Steve Young's pass is batted down by Jerome Brown. And that'll bring up third down.
Clyde Simmons and Steve Wallace really going at it on the outside, and Jerome over there I thought he was going to be a peacemaker, but then he gave Wallace his shove.
If the Eagles are going to have any chance at coming back in this game or winning it or making it close, the defense is going to have to force a turnover or even get a score themselves.
You're absolutely right. They've got to take charge, and they have done it in the last couple of series, but they need to get a turnover right here. Get some field position for McMahon.
Henderson going outside, and the Eagles will have to kick it away as Seth Joyner. The 49ers will have to kick it away, excuse me, as Joyner pursues, and that'll bring up fourth down.
The Eagles went after the last punt by Prokop. Let's see what they do on this situation. They came very close to blocking it. In fact, got their hands on one earlier.
Rod Harris will go back deep for the Eagles. Penalty marker down. And they're going to let it roll. We may have a hold. The ball is down, and it'll be a holding penalty against the 49ers.
William Thomas getting close to having a shot at that ball, and somebody just reached out and grabbed him.
Holding. Number 40 on the kicking team. Penalty refused. First down.
Johnny Jackson holding. They refuse it because the Eagles have the ball on the 25. And they have 8:33, needing 2 touchdowns to pull this game out.
Let's go, Eagles! Let's go, Eagles!
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Honda, who puts a driver's airbag on every new Accord, Civic, and Prelude and urges you to buckle up. Arid Double X Antiperspirant helps keep you extra, extra dry. And by Miller Lite, it's it, and that's that.
Back at the vet, Dick Stockton and Merlin Olsen. No further word on Jeff Kemp. May not have any word till after we're off the air. Who's taken to the hospital for x-rays after suffering a concussion in the 3rd quarter. First down for the Eagles on the 25. McMahon's pass is intercepted by Dave Waymer. And the Niners get it back, and for Waymer, that will be his 2nd interception of the season and the 3rd turnover of the game by the Eagles.
Something that McMahon had been able to avoid all day long. In spite of the pressure, he had not made that bad throw that leads to the interception, but it happens here. It'll come to the left side of your screen. I believe it was Byers he's looking for right here. No, it's not Byers. It's Roy Green. Byers is the man who's there to make the tackle. And Roy Green on the deep slant cutting across, and Jimmy McMahon has handed the ball back to the San Francisco 49ers.
First down at the 33 for the 49ers. A score here would wrap this up. Eagles need 2 touchdowns to get that. Keith Henderson. And a fumble. And Philadelphia gets it back. Philadelphia gets it back, and Andre Waters, who was awaiting ruling from the league after his altercation with Eric Martin after the Saints game a couple of weeks ago, makes the recovery.
One thing the Eagles have been able to do all year long is strip the football. We saw it just moments ago, and right there it happens once again. Henderson into the line. Pitts wraps him up. A 2nd and a 3rd hit. The ball comes loose, and Andre Waters right there to scoop it up, and McMahon is back on the field.
That's the first turnover by the Niners, and the best starting field position right now is the 30-yard line by the Eagles. McMahon's pass. Keith Jackson has it, and Romanowski missed the tackle. Crowd loves his effort. 16 yards. Tim Harris ultimately made the stop.
It was an attempted fumble, an attempted lateral moments ago that turned the ball over to San Francisco. The man who attempted it, and I'm sure is frustrated by it, right there. And that energy turned into a nice run by Keith Jackson.
Jackson with 5 catches for 88 yards. A big day for the tight end. McMahon on first down. Fires it out of bounds. Tim Harris was running him down, and a smart play by McMahon that time.
Early in this ball game, Charles Haley gave Antone Davis all he could handle and then some. Well, they're leaving some help over for him now. Heath Sherman right there to pick up Charles Haley as he tries to slide inside, and McMahon showing surprising mobility as he rolled out of there. Every time he runs, I worry about that right knee.
Yeah. 2nd down and 10 for the Eagles with 7:48 remaining in the 4th quarter. Short drop. Keith fires. Gets by Romanowski, and Byers, after losing it, picks it up and is about a couple of yards shy of first down yardage. Dave Waymer on the tackle.
Wrestling match between Waymer and Byers.
Let's hear this play. Hear it. It's harder than you used to hear.
I've always said, Dick, you can hear good football games. And sometimes you can hear them even up here in the booth.
3rd down and 2, and the Eagles have 2 downs to get the first down at this stage of the game. McMahon has it, and it is caught, and a first down. Roy Green, I don't know how he held on to that one, but it's a first down for the Eagles.
One of the things you'll always test on those wide receivers, do they have the courage to go into the middle and catch the football in traffic? The answer for Roy Green was yes.
Emphatically yes.
Emphatically yes.
Hurry up offense. McMahon going for Roy Green, and the pass is intercepted in the end zone by Don Griffin. That's right, Jim. How frustrating is it now as the 49ers stop another Eagle bid?
A big, big break for the 49ers. That ball bounced loose, bounced off the hands, and falls right into the stomach of the 49ers. Watch the end of this play. They have not gone deep many times. Green gets a hand on this ball. It bounces away from Griffin and ends up right in Griffin's stomach.
Here it is again, and Griffin with a great play, his first interception of the season, and the Eagles have turned the ball over on their last 3 possessions.
Right now, the San Francisco 49ers thinking about one thing: starting and maintaining the kind of drive that they began this game with. Something that would eat the clock. Expect to see them doing a lot of running and short passing on this now, or on this series.
Tom Rathman. First interception of the year for Griffin.
There's a lot of luck in this game, Dick. A lot of luck. And you never know which way that crazy ball is going to bounce. On that occasion, that could just as easily have bounced on the ground, but it didn't. It stayed right in Don Griffin's stomach.
Second down and 6. Lindsey McLean working on Mark Lee.
Raiders been a busy man for the 49ers this year.
Keith Henderson off the weak side. He's got the first down beyond the 30-yard line, and a penalty marker is thrown. That was Eric Allen and Wes Hopkins in the secondary making the tackle after Henderson gets 8 yards. And the penalty, it will be against San Francisco, so nullify that.
Way away from the football, too.
Holding, number 89 offense, 10 yards, repeat second down.
Wesley Walls, one of 2 tight ends in there for the 49ers, was holding.
That was a big first down. It marches it back. Changes your whole philosophy here. Although I would still expect to see something short here. I don't think you'll see the 49ers try and go deep.
Sanjay Beach is in the game as a wide receiver. He's been their punt returner today, number 86, at the top of your picture. They hand the ball off to Henderson, and he is tripped up by Byron Evans, and that will bring up 3rd down and long. And the Eagles are going to use their second timeout right here. You know, the interesting thing about this game, Merlin, with all the problems the Eagles have had and the fact that the 49ers have taken advantage of the turnovers, they haven't really shaken this team. They need 2 touchdowns, and that's not out of the realm with 5:09 remaining.
It's not, although Jimmy McMahon and this Eagle offense really have struggled. They have not been able to light anything in the second half. After that very fine offensive drive to open this ball game, most of the rest of the day has been frustrating for McMahon. And of course, one of the reasons is because of the very aggressive defense by the 49ers.
That's true. Although I don't think the 49ers feel that they're that comfortable right now, despite all that.
There's still a lot of time on the clock. Getting a first down in this situation would certainly help. But I still don't think you're going to see them go deep for something. I think you're going to see them throw something underneath and hope to break a receiver loose to run for the first down, something the 49ers do very well. most importantly, they don't want to turn the ball over to the Eagles down there and give them that short shot at a touchdown.
And they've done it today without Jerry Rice, who's caught only 2 passes.
Well, I wouldn't say they've done it without Rice. I think it's the concentration on Rice. It's the fact that the Eagles have said you're not going to have Jerry Rice that has allowed Steve Young to get to the outside to other people.
You're right. I meant that. Without Jerry Rice's production as a receiver. The Eagles have used their second timeout. 5:09 remaining, and the 49ers looking at a 3rd and 16. And a big play coming up now. The 49ers have a 2-to-1 edge in rushes to passes today. That's unusual for them, and it's paid off. And the draw play won't work. Keith Henderson is stopped, and the Eagles will use their last timeout now. Byron Evans was right there. So Philadelphia will be out of timeouts.
Not only use their last timeout, but I would imagine, again, try and go after the punter, Joe Prokop. Try and get a block.
In any event, they should get good field position. They still need 2 touchdowns, but they won't have any advantage of timeouts except for the 2-minute warning, which will stop the clock. Tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes, followed by a great event, Game 7 of the 1991 World Series. The Braves and the Twins. They both finished last in their respective divisions last year, and the winner of tonight's game wins the World Championship. 8 o'clock Eastern with the pregame show. First pitch at 8:35. Jack Buck and Tim McCarver from the Metrodome. I'll be rushing home to see that one, Merle.
Almost sorry I can't stay and watch it myself. I enjoyed watching that game last night, as I have the other games of the series. Outstanding baseball.
Stay over and leave tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
4th down, and here's the kick, and it's a good high kick. Rod Harris bobbles it. And there was an opportunity for the Eagles to get good field position, and Rod Harris, who had touched and muffed a punt earlier in the game, lost possession, and a 47-yard kick, and Antonio Goss, who blocked a field goal, and Greg Cox made the tackle on Harris. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and the CBS telecast is intended use for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Philadelphia Eagles, and the National Football League is prohibited.
I wonder what Jim McMahon's body would say to him if that body could talk. He doesn't listen to those pain signals, does he?
No, he doesn't. First down on the 44. No more timeouts remaining. Pass to Barnett is incomplete. Covered by Don Griffin. New Orleans leading Chicago 17-13. They came in with a 4-game lead in the NFC West. Atlanta romping over the Rams. So they'll go 4-4. Rams will be 3-5. So the 49ers will not gain any ground on the Saints if the Saints go on to win and other scores.
Both of these teams chasing undefeated leaders in their divisions, and if possible to expect to stay in the race if they couldn't win today. Almost impossible.
2nd down and 10. McMahon avoids a rush. He finds Roy Green. He gets the first down with a good piece of running after the catch. Merton Hanks with the tackle and a gain of 13, and it's hurry up all the way for the Eagles now with 4:35 showing.
No other choice as they rush back to the line, and McMahon is going to have to take a couple of shots deep here. Not enough time, I don't think, to work and use the clock. He's got to get something deep, get something quick.
He fumbles, and Tim Harris recovers the snap, fumbled by McMahon, and the way it's gone for the Eagles today, and that's not a surprising play. Turnover number 5 will do it for the Philadelphia bid, valiant as it has been.
And I think part of the reason that McMahon was not able to handle that football is he just could not bend that right knee as he goes to pick it up. It kind of bounces away from him, and he cannot get enough weight on that right foot to get back in and take a shot at it. Big break for the 49ers and another horrible turnover for the Eagles. Tim Harris, by the way, has to be pleased to be making that kind of positive play. Made a couple of negative plays earlier in this ballgame.
Well, the 49ers can celebrate, and Jim McMahon bravely came back in the game after Jeff Kemp suffered a concussion. Handoff is to Rathman up the middle. And the 49ers now don't have to worry about the clock because the Eagles have used up their last timeouts. William Thomas making the tackle. So you look at 6 sacks by the Niners defense, 3 by Haley, 2 by Roberts, and 5 turnovers. And the last 4 possessions by the Eagles have resulted in turnovers.
Charles Haley has to be glad that his drought is over. It's been a big day for these 49ers. We talked about looking for identity and leadership in a hostile environment. They would appear to have grown in that regard here today.
Tom Rathman brought down by Mike Pitts. Pitts might have been shaken up a bit. Well, the Eagles now have to face a Monday night game against the Giants here at Veterans Stadium. But you wonder, with a 3-5 record in arguably the toughest division in the National Football League, whether this may not be Philadelphia's year to make the playoffs, and losing Randall Cunningham would be a good testament to why they wouldn't.
Well, losing Cunningham, then losing McMahon as they have, and having to play McMahon with that bad knee here today.
Henderson on 2nd down and 9. And that'll run it down to the 2-minute warning.
Richie Kotite is going to have to sit down and make some tough decisions. You'd have to wonder how much sense it would make if you can't get back into this race to keep Jim McMahon on the field. McMahon was really brought here as a backup quarterback. Brad Gable, the young man who's played and struggled through the last few games, would appear to be a logical choice to put in there and find out if he can really play in the NFL. It'll be interesting to see what Kotite decides to do.
Well, I think they were wise to go with McMahon if he felt good enough, because the Eagles needed to win this game. And Gable hadn't gotten the job done when he had his chance.
Well, they had no choice today. There's no question about that, Dick.
2-minute warning. Has not been a pleasant day for Jerome Brown or any of the Philadelphia Eagles under trying circumstances, losing Jim McMahon and then Jeff Kemp, and we understand he has had an examination for a concussion at the hospital, undergoing a CAT scan right now. He was taken off on a stretcher. But that man, Charles Haley, has had a big game today. 3 quarterback sacks after the Niners defense did not have a sack at all in the last 2 games. Last 4 possessions have done the Eagles in.
Well, I tell you, that is dominant defense from the 49ers.
3rd down and 7. Henderson dives to the 31-yard line. It'll be 4th down. William Thomas making the tackle.
Byron Evans really created the play by stacking up people inside and destroying the timing. Dick, I think there's good news for the 49ers aside from the victory here today. They can keep their sights on that wild card possibility in the NFC. They start to get some of their injured back. Brent Jones, their fine tight end that they have missed offensively, gives them a deep threat down the slot, and moving from that position is expected to be back next week. Kevin Fagan should be back, and a couple more of the injured beginning to round into shape.
The Chicago Bears are driving on the Saints with 58 seconds to go. They're on the Saints 13-yard line. It's 17-13 New Orleans, so it's possible, as the Niners call a timeout, that San Francisco could indeed pick up a game on the Saints. And keep in mind, they still have 2 games head-to-head against them this season. 20-7 with 1:12 remaining. The Niners called a timeout, and they're going to try a 49-yard field goal. Mike Cofer is 2 for 2. This is his longest attempt of the season. It's long enough, and the kick is good. Perfect day for Mike Cofer. 3 for 3. A 49-yard field goal. Now they say it's 50. That rounds it off nicely. And the 49ers lead 23-7 with 1 minute and 6 seconds remaining. Want to remind you, coming up on the NFL Today postgame show, Greg and Terry will get you updated on all the scores, highlights, and latest information around the league, and a World Series report for Game 7 coming up tonight after 60 minutes. Bears have taken the lead over the Saints 20-17. Atlanta defeats the Rams. They're 4-4 on the year. The Rams drop to 3-5. Battle of the Bays at 1-6. Green beat Tampa, or will beat. Woes for the Bengals, huh?
Oh, and how it continues, and one has to wonder how long Sam Wyche would survive in that situation, or how he has managed to survive this long.
Gopher will kick off, and the Eagles have Rod Harris back there, but the ball is fielded by Heath Sherman. And Sherman is tackled at the 28-yard line by Todd Bowles. So Brad Gable, who this year has thrown 6 interceptions and no touchdown passes, will finish the game out for Jim McMahon.
Jamie Williams got a few passes today. It's been big. Interesting to me, Jerry Rice has been a very expensive decoy on the field today, and a very effective one. One of the reasons that Jamie had room to catch his passes was Rice's continual running of his patterns at full speed and dragging the defense with it.
First down, Gable. Fires complete to Roy Green. Stop made by Jackson and a gain of 8 yards.
Watch the 49ers as they try to keep this clock rolling. You lay on people until they drag you off, but you have to get back before that ball is snapped.
Gable's pass is caught by Calvin Williams.
Keep him in bounds. Well, that's a deliberate fumble, and I don't think they're going to allow that. You can't intentionally fumble a ball out of bounds to stop the clock.
They're going to talk about it. While they do, we want to thank some people. Before we tell you that, Greg and Terry with scores and highlights in the World Series report coming up on the postgame show. Today's game was produced by Michael Burks and directed by Andy J. Kindle. The NFL Today was produced by Eric Mann and directed by Duke Struck. The senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin, and the executive producer
is an illegal forward pass
is Ted Shaker.
in an attempt to stop the clock. We penalized 5 yards from the spot of the pass. The down counts, and we will employ the 10-second runoff rule. We'll spot the ball. We will run 10 seconds before they can next snap.
With the number of people in the stadium, he probably doesn't need to use the microphone anymore.
We could probably hear him, but as you heard, that's a costly penalty. 5 yards, loss of down, and 10 seconds off the clock. Well, 33 seconds to go in this ball game. I don't think it's going to have any impact on the outcome of this game.
3rd down and 2 coming up for the Eagles. They've got the Giants. On Monday night is their next game, then a couple of games against AFC Central teams, and then 3 road games against Phoenix, Houston, and the Giants.
And you have to wonder at what kind of attitude, what kind of emotional level you're going to have here in Philadelphia after another loss, after another Sunday of turnovers and poor offensive performance. Meanwhile, on the other side of the line of scrimmage, well, there's more good news.
Well, they've got to show up for those games, and they will.
They definitely have to show up.
And their next 2 are against division opponents Atlanta and New Orleans. The 49ers playing on the road, but they will have won their first road game of the year today against the Eagles. Gable going deep.
Intercepted, but out of bounds.
With 3 seconds remaining, Todd Bowles. 34 seconds remaining in the game at the Superdome, and the Bears are leading the Saints 20-17. So the 49ers could narrow that margin to 3 games in the NFC West. So right now they're okay wild card wise right now, but they are looking.
This is exactly what they hoped would happen. They have been able to play well in this ball game. I don't think they've had any serious injuries on the day. They've been able to pick up a game apparently on New Orleans, and certainly they get out of here, get on their way home, and this part of the season is going the way they wanted it to. They've overcome some of those early problems, and now as they begin to get their people back from injury, they're going to be even tougher as they go down the stretch.
Well, this will be their second best defensive effort of the year. They limited the Lions to a field goal, and they limit the Eagles to a touchdown on their first drive, and the defense with 6 sacks and 5 turnovers, despite the fact that 5 of their starters are injured, have done the job. So for Merlin Olsen, this is Dick Stockton saying so long. Stay tuned for the NFL Today postgame show. You're watching the CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.